What's up guys, how you doing? This is a tutorial on Redux Saga. So Redux, if you don't know, is state management for JavaScript applications. Basically what it does is if you've got a large JavaScript application, instead of having data all over your application, you can have all your data in Redux, and then you can just pull the data and reference it as and when you like from wherever you want in your application. Redux Saga is a middleware for Redux, and what Redux Saga allows us to do is handle side effects easier. And side effects are things such as calls to APIs and stuff like that. So if you're fetching blog posts from your server or users, it's a good way to handle those. So we've got our basic application here. We've got importing create store and apply middleware from Redux. We're importing the logger from Redux logger, and we're importing Axios from Axios. And then we're creating a middleware object. We're applying the logger middleware. We've got our initial state of our store here. We've got our reducer here, and a reducer is basically a function which receives arguments such as actions that are dispatched, and it will handle those actions. So if we dispatch an increment action, it's going to add 1 to the state. If we dispatch a decrement action, it's going to minus 1 from the state. And we've got the default there, which is just return state. You need a default. And then we have the store, and we use the create store function. We pass it the reducer, which is state, and the middleware. We apply the store to the window object, and we've got our custom dispatcher object, which we also attach to the window. And in our dispatcher object, we've got the dispatch increment and dispatch decrement, which are going to dispatch the increment and decrement actions. Okay, so in practice, we got the dispatcher, and we'll dispatch increment. Okay, so counter was 0, counter is 1. Dispatch it again, counter is 1, counter is 2. We dispatch decrement, counter was 2, counter is 1. Dispatch that again, counter was 1, counter was 0. So that is Redux in a nutshell. Now I can pass this store anywhere in my application and reference it. So yeah, it's a great little library. So now onto Redux Saga. So yeah, we'll create a new folder called Sagas, and inside here we'll create an index file. So Redux Saga has two types of functions. It has watchers and workers. Watchers watch for dispatched actions, and workers perform processing in response to those dispatched actions. So you'll see here, we'll create a new function, and what we're going to be doing is I've got an API here that I made, and it's got 2 endpoints, users and blog posts. We'll show you the users endpoint. Just got 3 users there, so we're going to fetch the users from here and add them to our store. So fetch users watcher, and it's a generator function, and this function is a new JavaScript feature, and basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to yield a value, and then every time you call the generator with the next function, it will yield the next value that you pass or that you yield. So they're very handy for iterating over things as and when you need. So this is the fetch users watcher, and we're going to yield take every fetch users, and then every time we receive the fetch users, so we're going to take every dispatched fetch users action, and every time the fetch users is dispatched, we're going to fire fetch users. Okay, so this right here is important. This is a Redux Saga effect, and there is quite a few of them within Redux Saga, and it's good to get familiar with them. So this one right here, take every, is going to take every will, every time that this is dispatched, it will call this. So every time that's dispatched, you call that. Cool. Now we're going to define fetch users. So it's another generator function, fetch users. Okay, so first thing we want to do in fetch users, you want to fetch the users. So constant users equals a yield to the call effect, which is another Redux Saga effect, and this one basically calls an asynchronous function. So it executes an asynchronous function and it will wait for the response. So we're going to call it with, we'll pass it an array, and we'll pass Axios as the context and Axios get as the method that we're going to want to apply. So basically, when we supply a call with two arguments in square brackets, the first argument is the context from which you want to call this function from. So the this object, the this will be applied to Axios, and we want to call the method Axios get. You could supply no brackets there, but the this context would be this here. So we want to use Axios as the this context. I'm not sure if the this context would be this function or the call function. It would be one of those. I'm not too sure about that. So we're going to call the Axios get method. We can also use the apply function if we want, and we can it takes it like this, Axios args. So the apply one is like that, but we'll go with call Axios get, and we'll pass it HTTP localhost 6543 users. So yeah, so Redux Saga is cool because this function won't continue until this is returned. So when we yield the call to here, this is going to stop executing until this returns. So that's pretty cool. Okay, the next effect we're going to want to use is the put effect. So we'll yield a call to put, and the type will be fetch users success, and the payload will be users data, because Axios returns an object and the data object is the actual data. The data property is the actual data. So yeah, we'll put the payload as that. Cool. And the put effect is another Redux Saga effect, and the put will dispatch an action. So we can dispatch actions from Redux Saga, or we can dispatch them from Redux store. So yeah, that's how you can dispatch actions from Redux Saga. So inside here, what we're going to do is we're going to import runtime. And what runtime is basically a polyfill kind of thing, because the browser does not support generator functions just yet, so I have to import this runtime. Next, we're going to import the effects. So we'll import call, put, and take every from Redux Saga effects, and we'll import Axios from Axios. So yeah, we will save that. That's our Saga. We've got our watcher and our worker. We're going to export our watcher, save that again, and then we'll import our watcher here. So we'll import our fetch users watcher from Sagas, and we'll also import Redux. We'll import create Saga middleware from Redux Saga. Cool. And then we'll create the Saga middleware. So we'll say let create Saga middleware equals, we'll let the Saga middleware equal create Saga middleware, and then we'll pass the middleware to the middleware, the Saga middleware to the middleware, and this middleware will get passed into the store. Right, so yeah, using Redux Saga, we import create Saga middleware, which creates the middleware from Redux Saga. We apply this middleware to our store, however you do that, and then after we've made the store, we're going to say Saga middleware, and we're going to run our root middleware, our root Saga, sorry. So the root in here, because we've only got one watcher, it's this one, but if we've got more than one watcher, we'll create a root Saga, and this root Saga will call all the sagas that we need to run, and we can run that in here. So it's basically a base Saga. So create Saga middleware, and we're going to run fetch users watcher. Okay, and we'll save that. So that's done. Now what we need to do is we need to handle in our reducer the fetch users success action. So when we get the fetch user success dispatched, we're gonna update the state. So we object assign blank object state. We'll add a users array to the initial state, and then users equals action payload. And in our Saga middleware, where we dispatch our users payload, we've got the payload as users data and the type fetch user success. Fetch user success. Okay, great stuff. Now we just need to dispatch the fetch users action. So in our dispatcher, we'll create a new function, fetch users, and we'll call store dispatch type fetch users, comma there. Okay, we'll save that, and we're bundled. Okay, so we'll just clear the terminal, and we'll call dispatcher dispatch get users. It should be fetch users, but get users it is. Well, it's not a function. Dispatcher fetch users, so it was fetch users. Dispatcher fetch users. We'll call that. The fetch users was dispatched. Our asynchronous call got called with that, and then we can look at our new state users. We've got an array of users. There they are. So yeah, that's Redux Saga. Just quickly, I will show you one more thing. Okay, so another effect I'll show you is the take latest effect, and we'll add take latest in there. And take latest, what that does is it will, every time we dispatch fetch users, if we dispatch 3 fetch users, it will cancel the previous 2 and only use the last one. So it will just use the latest call to that dispatch, which is pretty cool. So we'll save that. And we'll dispatch fetch users, dispatch it again, dispatch it again, dispatch it again. And we only got 1 return, which is what we expect. So that's pretty cool. So if we put it back to take every, and we dispatch fetch users, dispatch, dispatch, dispatch 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, that is Redux Saga. I'll just run through what we've actually gone through here one more time. So this is our saga. It's our fetch users saga. So we got a fetch users watcher and a fetch users worker. The fetch users watcher is going to take every dispatched fetch users and call the fetch users function. We can say take latest, and it will only take the latest call to that one and cancel the rest. Inside fetch users, we've got this, which is a call, which calls a method. You can supply it 2 parameters here in square brackets, the this context and the method you want to call. And then you pass the parameters or the arguments with each sequential or each next. So separate by commas. So if you've got 3 arguments, you do argument 2 and argument 3, and so on. So yeah, that's cool. Allows you to call methods. And then we've got the put, and the put dispatches actions also. So this will dispatch the fetch user success action. And then inside our index, we have import create Saga middleware from Redux Saga. We create the Saga middleware. We apply the middleware. We create our store with the middleware, and then after we create our store, we say Saga middleware run and our root Saga. So just to show you, we could export the function root Saga. It's what you do if you have more than 1 Saga, and we could yield all, and we can pass it fetch users watcher, and if we had another one, another Saga. So yeah, this is another effect which basically runs all of the sagas that it is passed together. So it's useful when you're creating a root saga. So we could do that. We import all from effects. We import the root saga up here, and then we run the root saga. Save that. We'll refresh. Dispatcher, fetch users, call that. Fetch users dispatched, fetch user success dispatched. So yeah, there we go. It's Redux Saga. Any questions, leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer them. Leave a like if you liked it. Hopefully this helped. Check out my other tutorials. Got some more Redux Saga tutorials, and we'll keep updating the channel. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.